Hi everyone, good morning. It's the 17th of September and 8. And can you believe we're already in September? I am back from my trip in Egypt and I'm going to take you through a brief journey of it because there is so much I'm still integrating. Uh, we had the most magnificent time, the most magnificent group. Everybody worked hard. And for those of you who perhaps haven't watched Sekhmet Speaks, highly recommend because whew, she delivered. And Jill and I are in the process of continuing the other two chapters because she's asked us to deliver 7 chapters. But she called it the body of work, Sekhmet. And for those of you who don't know Sekhmet, she's all about transformation and healing. And she's a lioness with a sundial. And we went to go see her on the 8th day, which was pretty spectacular. And we had 17 people, which was an 8. So the Council of 8 were with us in the most magnificent ways. So I'm going to take you through a bit of the program, the itinerary, the days, and then my wonderful video editor, Lauren, is busy putting together photos and some of the places that we went to, and the food that we ate was delicious. The Egyptian people are so wholesome, so friendly. These countries that we go to where these incredible sites. Oh, there's so much to it. There's so much interconnectivity. There's so much life. And me being South African, landing on African territory was like, yes, like I kept saying, I've got a tan, people, I've got a tan. And I was so excited to get a tan, number one, but also just to see the the African sunset. You know, I saw birds that were part of Africa. I saw dragonflies that I just remember when I lived in South Africa too. So it felt very wholesome for me. The Egyptian food, amazing. So let me take you through the itinerary. The first few days was chaotic. Okay. Jill and I landed. You've already seen a little bit of the video. And I got shown because I was hoping to do clips along the way and share it with everyone. But I got shown by the council no more distractions. Like I really had to be present. And we landed, we all came together at Mina House on day one, which was the August the 23rd. Jill and I landed a few days before at a different place. And and it was, I mean, the Mina House, the pyramids are right there. So you're really feeling the vibration. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do, once if you're feeling the connection with Egypt and you feel the call, there's another video that I came across the other day on my channel called Egypt Brings Balance. And we had a talk with Michael Feely. He is so incredibly connected. And he shares about the vibration of the pyramids and how they reflect and how it's a mirror. Guys, I can tell you every little bit of what I'd professed, what I'd put out there in terms of my fears came into light. That's what Egypt does. I didn't realize this at the time until I came back and I took time to integrate time. Like I say, I'm still integrating, but time to really sit in the processing. And it hasn't been the easiest for me. There were some really moments of deep introspection, what we would call shadow work. And, we all came away just in the most miraculous way. But to go back to this video of Egypt Brings Balance, highly recommend it because everything that Michael was saying, I was like, oh yes, this makes sense now. So, day one, August the 23rd, we had our beautiful opening ceremony at Mina House. It was very, very special. Our tour group, Unknown Egypt and Nut Travel, the tour operators, our tour guide Hassan, nothing short of exceptional from the time they meet you at the airport. If any of you are going by yourself to Egypt, highly recommend them. They are incredible, guys. So we had our opening ceremony, and the very next day we were wide awake and up at 4 o'clock to be on the bus at 4:30 to go to the Great Pyramid, which was exceptional. There'll be some photos of us. I didn't take my phone into the King's Chambers. We went in. I'm very proud to say I embraced every part of it. I got my head out the way because the fear of myself was about how I was going to handle being in a no window space where you can't open the windows, where the pyramid doesn't have windows, does it? And but I got it, and I was the last in the group, and it was just so spectacular because you go in the tunnels and then upstairs, and we went to the Queen's chambers, and we were all standing against the wall, and then my guide started leading me to go and already start working and helping others, and it was so special, so special. And then we went again into another tunnel and then up into the King's chambers. And there's another video where Laura had hypnotized myself and Jill Cole, and they spoke about me being the harmonizer. I will bring harmonic frequencies. I didn't take my phone out of respect for the pyramid, and the energy and the vibration in the pyramid. It was what came through my voice was so angelic and so special. And there's snippets that I can't remember. You know, the group have said to me, like, I went to this person, I went to that person. I would just be shown things and guiding them, perhaps getting messages. We had this special, beautiful Blair Star with us. He channeled to Bash. I walked up to him. I said, "Would you like to channel?" And we were all allowed to go into parts of the parts. We were all allowed 3 minutes to go and sit in the sarcophagus. Now, the funny part of the sarcophagus, as I was coming out and going, "Oh, what did you feel in the esophagus?" As everyone calls it, the Michelinisms. And I say it with such vibrancy that I believe it, and everybody else goes, "The esophagus? Does she really mean that?" So it was pretty special. And oh gosh, so I'll take you in my brief journey of the sarcophagus. And I was somehow not meant to go in the beginning, and everybody went in and they had 3 minutes each. Hassan had timed everyone, and I thought, oh, do I have a fear because it's dark in there? They switch off the lights when you go when we go into the sarcophagus. And then at the very end, I said, I'm ready. Now, about 2.5, 3 months before I went to Egypt, underneath the ball of my right foot, I would get such a spasm that would go up my whole leg, like a massive cramp. And you know, when you're trying to rub it and you're trying to rub, the one time I shouted for my husband because it was just, I felt like my whole leg was just going to spasm out. And then I went and I put one foot forward and one foot like this. Actually, it was like this, right foot, and then my left leg was kneeling behind me. And my foot started to get this cramp, and I was like, oh my word, I know this because it happened, I think, about 2 or 3 times before we left. Now, I know everything is energetic, but I didn't know until I knew in that moment. And I got shown, let go of all the pain and suffering. And I went, wow. Now, before we step into the temples, any temple, we always ask permission. And I got a very beautiful message from the pyramids. And I'm just asking if I can share it. So you ask permission. Is it okay for me to come into your temple? And we were still in the dark. We were all dressed in white, which you will see the photos. And I got this very clear yes. Are you ready to align with your purpose and step broadly into your spiritual journey? And I said, yes. And then again, the voice was louder. And if you listen to my voice, that's how I was like, yes. And then the voice said again, are you ready to step into your purpose and align with your spiritual journey? And I said, yes. And I got goosebumps. I felt this like strength that just happened. And I thought, wow, wow. And then I went in. And this was also part of my letting go of my fears in many different ways. And again, I'll mention to you that a lot of my fears that I'd already put out into the field had come into fruition. And there's some of it that I will not disclose because it's something that I'm working really deeply with. And I'm always scanning my body as I'm sharing the information to see if there's contraction in my body or expansion, because I want to share from an expansive space, yet in the integration of this incredible journey. There's still the human part of me that is in progress and working through the conditions and the emotions that no longer serve me. So I was in the sarcophagus, and because I was about to rub my foot, and I got shown let go of all the pain and suffering. I was like, okay, I can do this, and I took a few big breaths, and now I haven't been able to go into child's pose for many, many years, just purely from my knees. My knees have been a work in progress. I come from a dancing background, always wore high heels. So I don't have much cartilage. If any of you have any suggestions as to how to rebuild cartilage, it is something that I'm very passionate about. I've brought a lot of healing to my knees, but I wasn't able to go into child's pose. And I got shown that it was like I was reunited. I went back into like, as you bowing with one knee back, and I went back into that pose. And then I got shown go into child's pose, and I could feel the vibration. I could feel, it was like, it was miraculous. And I went into child's pose, and I was able to go back. Still a little bit of a gap between my butt and my heels, but I was like, oh my God, I can do this. Wow. It was just like, here it is. This is who you are. This is what you can do. Believe in miracles. Okay, so King's Chamber, I was able to go into child's pose. And then we also stood around the sarcophagus, held hands, and I started letting out a tone. And then I said to everybody, find your tone. And then we ended off with the most beautiful exercise later on, where we all faced each other and we put hand on hearts and looked into each other's eyes, took 3 breaths, and then hugged each other. And that was spectacular, very, very special. Oh, we went to the Sphinx as well. I forgot to share with you. The same day of the Great Pyramid was early morning, 5 to 7, and then we went to the base of the Sphinx. And there were things that were shared there.
We're travelers that came to Africa, but they decided I'm actually being shown a map of Africa, and they're traversing, they're in this huge spaceship, and they've got scanners, like a photostat machine, and they're scanning the land, they're looking for something, and they've arrived here. Very, very different beings, very intelligent, all-knowing, wise, and they came to put in a new way of doing things, a new way of learning, a new way of healing. And they were teachers, they were cosmic teachers. They travelled in from galaxies. They were multiple galaxies, beautiful.
With different people. I just ended up talking to one of our clients at the back of the Sphinx, and I picked up a beautiful little rock from the Sphinx. You know me, guys, I'm always finding my hearts, always. These are just 2 on my desk, and I found many more. There's pictures that I'll share along as well. Some of them were like big boulders, and I was like, I can't take that in my case. Anywho, so then day 2, it was an early morning again. We flew to Aswan. And I've got my itinerary here because this is what happened. You're kind of like, ooh, what happened? What happened? There was a lot more that happened in the King's Chambers, but I'm going to keep it short. Day 2, we flew to Aswan, early morning. Already people are starting to feel unraveled, discombobulated, because it's, they've traveled from afar. And we've now started to feel the vibration on many different levels. And Aswan is so beautiful. It really is very soft. We were going to the temple of Isis, and So it's all about the city of gold. Now, on the flight there, I was chatting to one of our clients, and then I put my head forward and I just got shown this massive big sundial, this massive big sun. And my heart was already starting to just expand in the most beautiful ways. It is the heart chakra of Egypt. The people are so soft, so kind, just a very different vibration. And we took a felucca and we went to Ben Ben, which oh my gosh, Ben Ben was like a little Greece on its own. I've never been to Greece. Incredibly special, an eco lodge. And then we went out to another temple, and just some of us caught a felucca to this beautiful temple, which I will ask Lauren to put into the video. Actually, I'm going to show you right now. It's called Gazor Awad. And oh my soul, we were swimming in between here. We were swimming in the Nile. This energy, the vibration here was so special, so special. And we saw beings in the rocks. It was just incredible. I mean, we had so much fun in the water. The Nile is so soft. Man, my skin felt like gold, literally. It was incredible. There was a bit of a rush. We could have stayed another day at Ben Ben, but these are all the learnings that we've had along the way. So we visited that ancient island, and we sat, and then we danced on the boat, and then we had a meditation, which was really, really special. And then we were just quiet on the way back to Ben Ben. Then day 4, we went to Kom Ombu, and it is all about duality. We actually boarded our boat, the Dahabaya, which was, what was it called? La Rose. So we chartered our own boat, and I think 99% of our group said this was the best time because we integrated, we had our own chef, our staff. It was just magical. I mean, a lot of people, because of the intense energies of being in the pyramid, their bodies were releasing. Remember, we're energy. Everything is frequency. And people didn't realize this because they were like, oh, was it something we ate? And I said, no, guys, it's letting go of the old. And it's not ideal because, our bodies want to store, they want to hold. And so we went to the Kom Ombo temple, the temple of duality. That was very, very special. And it really does. It's looking at the shadow self. And none of us ever want to do the shadow work, do we? Myself included. But let me tell you, I've had to do some deep dives in the last week since I've been back from Egypt. Really having a good purge with my voice, turning to people that I truly, truly trust to hold me, to guide me, to share with me that this was the version of my perspective, and then just allowing my heart to feel. So yes, deep diving into my shadow. I didn't, at the time, I was triggered twice on my trip, and I, again, quickly found Jill to help me through the one trigger. But again, what was so fascinating is when I observe and I look back, that beautiful word hindsight, so much of what I'd shared to myself and to a friend about my fears of Egypt, just came into fruition. In Aswan, we went to a beautiful oil place, and that was very, very special. I got some. There were times where I'd had these frequencies come through me that were just otherworldly. I didn't video a lot of them or make recordings of them. I don't know why. I don't have the why. Actually, in one of the temples, Jill had recorded me. She was right here. And there was one where I opened up my eyes and then something else would come out and something else would be said in some other frequency. Jill had recorded me for, let's say, probably what felt like 4 to 5 minutes. When we got back to our hotel, she said, Mich, come and look here. I recorded this. It literally went, vrrt. She said, I don't believe this. She said, Mich, I was standing right next to you. I said, I remember you being next to me, but I don't remember you recording. And it was just, we weren't meant to rewatch it. So it was just for what we were being shown and what was shared in that moment. Pretty spectacular. It might sound weird, might sound wonky, but pretty spectacular. Then we went to the Edfu temple, which is so healing, and it's dedicated to Horus. Hi everyone. I'm in the temple of Edfu. Oh my gosh. So much lightness. I met the star people. I'm so in awe of. You hear the dogs barking, the protectors, the pigeons. So much beautiful connection. I have no words. I just wanted to share this beautiful vibration with you. And it's renowned as Egypt's best preserved temple. I mean, there's so many temples where you just like, they're just so well preserved. It's spectacular. There were things that happened that I was guided to help clients. I would just walk up to them and say, how are you feeling? And then I'd say, can I give you readings? And the messages would just come through. And the group was so ready to let go of the old. So I honor everybody that was on this journey with us. It was pretty spectacular to just watch and witness. Then day 6, we had sailing and integration. Jill did an incredible workshop. We had the magical Tabash with us. He had also shared and had channeled for us, which was so special. And it was all just about integration. Oops, hold on, I need to turn the page. Then, okay, Edfu. Then day 7, we went to Dundera, the temple that is so healing, the temple of Hathor. Oh my gosh, she's pretty special. I, once again, the last time on the last trip, and I'm taking a time to pause because Hathors are so connect with Hathor. She's all about love and compassion. And the last trip, I couldn't get myself into the tunnels because of my claustrophobia. This time I went with delight. And I sat in front of her, and there's 2 little rocks, and I sat and I thanked her. And somebody else that had channeled for me the one time before had said, Mich, connect with her. And I remember the voice of this person sharing it with me, and I received beautiful messages, and I was in such delight, such awe of what she shared. And this was the day that we went into another room that was completely dark. We went upstairs, and then Jill was next to me and recorded these frequencies that wasn't meant to be shown. And it was so special. There is a shortened version where you could hear the coming through me. So that was very, very special. Then day 8, dun dun dun, Karnak Temple and Sekhmet. Karnak is huge, and the last time we were there, that was in Luxor, we saw it at night, so it was beautiful to see it in the day. And I remember in Celsius, 38 to 40 degrees every day. Like, again, what Sekhmet said, this was a body of work. Guys, this was, everyone worked hard, kept hydrating, kept releasing. Even people that had been, doing in a lot of their own spiritual work, a lot of their own human stuff, human emotions, integrating, letting go. People that had done plant medicine before, gone on plant medicine retreats. This was different. And anyway, our tour guide, her son, such a beautiful man, was saying she's not ready to see us yet, another 15 minutes. And she was just bringing the clearings already, because our group was quite spread out. Everybody was a little bit confused. Jill was in the front. Her son was in the front calling me. I'm like, what's going on? And people going, we don't know what to do. And I'm like, go be with with, come, let's go. Walked in, Jill was there. I moved to the right. Sekhmet, it is profound how she just tunes into you. It was like I was to the right of the room, and she'd made me look down, up, mentioned something to me, and I was in awe of, she just scans. And somebody else in our group who was very much science-based had said, she asked questions to Sekhmet, and Sekhmet answered, and she's like, is this real? And then eventually she's like, this is real, this is happening. So that was pretty special. And then I got the word in the morning, disheveled, before we went to Sekhmet. And she'd most certainly the next day just brought this unraveling like a domino effect. And there was a lot of, somebody had fallen down the escalator when we flew back to Cairo. There was energy of anger. People were frustrated. The guys at the airport were kind of heckling us, and it was just strange, but not strange if you know the energy of Sekhmet. And then what had happened was I was walking and I had a few bags, and the next minute I just saw some people tumbling down the escalator, and somebody had the wisdom to stop the escalator. I put my bags down and I ran. And an old man who wasn't a part of our group, from a Portuguese group, somebody was trying to yank him up. I looked, our tour guide had actually fallen back with him. I said, are you okay, from what I remember? And I saw the man bleeding. So I was holding his head, and the guy trying to yank him, I said, stop, because now you could just feel he was in complete fright and flight. And I said, you're going to hurt him. He was trying to pull him up. And I said to this old man, can you understand English? He said, yes. I said, just breathe, just breathe. I said, I've got your head, you're bleeding. We've got to wait for the paramedics, so I've got you. But I was trying to get one of the guys in our group to come and lift him, because there was no ways as a woman I could lift him. He was quite a big, stocky guy. And he said, it's okay. And he was starting to breathe. Anyway, somebody then came and helped him up. And I said, slowly, slowly, he's traumatized. And then we'd walked up the stairs, and I saw one of the airport staff, and I said, are you going to the man? He said, yes. The funny thing is, guys, this is my sense of humor, there was a priest involved. This was a Portuguese group of an older generation. And I was looking, I'm like, there's a freaking priest, and the priest isn't coming to help one of his team. I remember still thinking, like, I need somebody. The priest was just there. So everybody deals with shock in their own way, okay, is what I'm trying to say. And then I went to people that were on the escalator, and I said, are you okay? And they were like, Mish, this could have happened, that could have happened. I said, I know, let your body quiver. Let your body, you're holding on to the shock, the trauma, just let your body quiver. One lady in our group hurt her leg quite badly on the escalator. And then eventually we saw this gentleman and the priest walking, because we were now getting our bags, and it was quite funny. You've got to find the humor. There was a priest involved. And the priest, we walked up to the old man, and he saw myself and Julie. He said, thank you so much for helping. And I said, well, everybody was helping you. And the priest said, thank you. And it was just very special. And the old man wanted to find his son, our tour guide, because he knew his son tried to break his fall, but then he went with a tumble, which was very unfortunate. And his son never said, whew, this is Sekhmet. Sekhmet just brings dishevelment, disraveling. And the interesting thing is that I've just remembered, I said to Jill, record your messages, because when we went into the temples, I said, we're going to get messages, record them. So Jill started recording her messages. And in one of the messages I was listening to, I heard her son say in the background, no pain, no gain. And this was the day before I think the day that we went into Sekhmet, I can't remember. And I said to him afterwards, her son, when he was feeling better and all that, I said, your words were no pain, no gain. You put this out there. And he went, oh my God, Mish, really? Profound. So that was day 8. Then we went to, I need to turn the page again. Day 9. We then flew back to Cairo, and this is what happened on the escalator. And then we went to Saqqara. Oh my word, Saqqara. where do I even start with Sakara? That day I was driving in the bus and I could feel again this energy, this vibration of, I was just feeling for all the animals. I was looking at the donkeys and the camels and the horses, and it's just otherworldly, guys. And I was feeling for the dogs, and I was crying on the bus, and I was like, oh man, I'm just feeling for all the animals. Unbeknown to me, Sakara holds a lot of vibration with regards to the animals and the healing of animals. And there was a lady on our group. I kept getting this message before we even went. We need to watch her because she has worked with horses. She's very connected to horses. And I kept saying, we need to watch her. And it wasn't happening. And I kept thinking, was I making this up? That day she went and we started reading a plaque about the animals and how the animals are buried there. And she started to cry and cry and cry. So we were set up, my council of eight, our council of eight was setting me up with so many different statements along the way. And I'd had a few moments of like, I wanted to share more of their wisdom, and a few moments of ego and a few moments of fear where I was like, oh, guys, I want to share your wisdom more. And it just didn't happen because often our group wasn't together. And Jill had these most beautiful, beautiful meditations that we brought each other together, and she would share the meditations, connect us to these temples. It was really special. And then we went to Sakara and we went to the Sound Healing Hospital. So you go in these tunnels and stairway to heaven. It is, I wish I was able to share the tones, but you've got the guards watching you, and they don't want it to be a spiritual journey. It's very much an internal journey. At times we could share things. At times the guards would come and take us and say, take a photo here, because on our hands the light was coming through at a certain time. But we had to be the observers and be aware of where we could do these things. And as Sekhmet does, she brings healing, and there was a lot of healing for me on day 9 and 10, and in the pool. And we went to the old Cairo, which was incredible. We went to the Abu Surga church, and I could feel my legs feeling very heavy, and I thought, I've got to teach my body that it's okay. So I walked into the church, spectacular, but apparently this is, I believe, where Jesus had once been. And I'll see if there's pictures in the group that we can share this. And we went to the Grand Egyptian Museum. I chose not to go in because I'd been there before. That's where the mummies are underground. And there's a lot of stuff we're still integrating. Egypt is the gift that just keeps giving and giving and giving. And I had some unfinished business when I came home. And yesterday was a day of me integrating that unfinished business with a person that I needed to share how I was feeling, and she told me how she was feeling. And it was tough. It was hard because we had to be brutally honest with one another. And day 11 we departed. Day 10 we had our was it day 10? We had our farewell dinner, our closing circle. And Jill and I Jill put me under hypnosis, and I felt like I was going to combust with the amount of energy that I was feeling. I felt like I was I was so out of my body. And I came back, and then Jill said to one of the guys in our group, pull her up. And it was just too soon. And I started to cry, and he was patting me on the back. And I was just like, whoa, man, I was just so out of my body and so discombobulated. And I took water, walked away from the group, then came back into the group. And then we stood in a circle, and we had a word that we wanted to share with each and every one. We said our goodbyes, and then Jill and I had to go because we had to pack our bags. And then we were going to the airport, and it was just crazy chaos when we got to the airport. I mean, the police are shouting at people, and it's just like blah, blah, blah. And we were so overstimulated. Jill was standing next to me and talking to her family, and I was like, Jilly, you shouting, please stop shouting. We were just in our discombobulation, and it deregulated us. And then I didn't sleep. I mean, I had 5 flights to get home. I think I was in transit and flying for like 32 odd hours. And then I crashed. I had nothing to give anybody. And I just took time to just be me. What I forgot to share with any of you is that any of you who are on Facebook and Instagram, I was kicked off on the 8th of the 8th, 2025. Incredible. And I can tell you I don't miss it. I really don't. So it was great. I was grateful because the Council of 8 showed me no more distractions. And I know I got distracted in other people's lives, in Facebook. I got distracted, or I'm not doing enough. I should be doing it this way, and I should be doing it that way. And then somebody would say, Mich, have you looked at this guy? And no disrespect to anybody who is on those platforms, who wants to be on those platforms. I've tried to look at getting back on to get my information out of it, my photos. Cannot. It's just like you need a timeout. So I'm now going to only be on YouTube, and I look at little things on TikTok. I'm still trying to understand how TikTok works, but no more distractions. And I was bitching and moaning about Facebook and Insta for quite a long time, where I was like, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, my own shit. And I wasn't doing enough. I should be, I could be, blah, 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 blah. And I know that I was just out of myself. So that's pretty much it, guys. I have a lot of exciting stuff that I'm already planning, that I was shown. I'm giving you the very brief description of everything that, not everything, that we went to a Blue Lotus farm where the woman cooked from their hearts. Oh my gosh, true Egyptian. I tasted camel. I thought, wow, I've got to give this a go. Then we went across the road to where they were making silk and Egyptian cotton carpets. Oh my word, that was just in itself spectacular, watching these people grab pieces of silk and intertwining it. And there must be videos on YouTube. I'll check again if the group had put videos. I was just in the moment, in the experience. It was nothing short of phenomenal. Everybody came from our group was beautiful. Everybody cared about everybody being sick. Everybody delivered in the way that they wanted to. Everybody showed up in unconditional love. Initially, it was like there were judgments. We were all judging. There were moments of just this like blah, 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 blah. And it was just incredibly, insanely incredible how everybody went through a change. That's what the group brought. We were asked about our last group in 2023 and this group, how different it is. And I said, guys, you cannot even begin to imagine, because there was a lot of workshopping, it was different energies, different vibrations. The last group were such troopers. I mean, we were pushed to the hilt, man, just go, 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 go. This time we had time to integrate. And if there was one comparison that I shared with the group, I said to them, guys, the last group just knew the mission. They knew the journey. You guys are like princesses and queens and kings. And I'm like, you wouldn't have been able to bitch and moan on the last trip, because it just happened. Like, people brought it. And not taking away from this group, because this group was so spectacular and special. And remember, we're all on our own journeys. And we cannot project onto others. We cannot expect others to be at where we're at, because they're at where they are at, not good or bad. And again, I had some of my own truths that I had to face. I had to speak my truth. I had to learn to speak my truth. I had to learn to stand up and be counted, because a lot of times there were just moments where I just thought, wow, I was in awe of how Spirit delivered. Sekhmet came to the party, guys, let me tell you, and she delivered and over-delivered and gave us exactly what we needed at the times that we needed it. So to everybody who has been, and I want to say this, I didn't say this at the beginning of the video, thank you to all of you who have been aligned into the energy. As I'm having sessions with many of you, you're saying, Mish, we could feel it. As I'm showing you pictures, you just get these goosebumpy moments. So you guys were there with us. If I thought about you, you were there with us. You probably were thinking about us at all the times. So I want to say to all of you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I would not be doing what I love with all of you. Is that the right way of saying it? I think so. I don't know. My head's getting crisscrossed, my wires. I'll say it again. I love what I do, and I wouldn't be doing this journey. We're all in this together, and I kept reminding us there's no I in we, because we are a unity. We are the universe, and we're all our own universes. We're all our own humans walking this journey. We're all our own gods. We're all our own masters. And remember, I walk with you on this journey. So I'm very, very, very grateful to have you all with me. I love you, and I was reminded many times that love is truly, truly why we are here, guys. I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Council of Eight portal this weekend. Please come and join us. Sign up for the Council of Eight portal and come and see and hear their wisdom. Love you all. Bye, everyone.